Welcome to the Nan Rae studio. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be painting flowers on landscape paper, and we're going to notice how the paper interacts with the moisture. So to begin, I'm going to do a demonstration of painting the wisteria. For years and years and years, we painted it rather like this, which we like doing, but I'm going to show you an even looser way to paint this wonderful flower. So to begin, you may use either a violet tone, or I'm using a pink today just because. This is Permanent Rose. It's a Winsor Newton color. It's Permanent Rose, and you want to make a nice reservoir of tone so that you don't have to go back and forth mixing your color so that it's not a rainbow of wisteria with different tones. When I first started painting wisteria, I'm afraid that's what I did. Okay, so after you make your reservoir, you want about a teaspoonful of the tone, and it's good to test it on a piece of paper. Pick up a little bit at the tip of your brush, and I want you to have this brush be very, very wet. And what we're going to do is work as rapidly as possible. With the wisteria at the top, it starts opening from the top, and then the buds at the bottom are still closed. All right? So we're going to show the open buds at the top, and there are many of them. So working very rapidly with a wet brush, and you're going to see puddles of moisture there, but that's exactly what we want to have. Okay? And this brush could even be wetter. Okay, now in this area, in the white area, we're going to lightly brush through it with clear water so that everything is blending together. And then taking a detail brush, we're going to, usually we don't use opaque white in brush painting. That was started around the turn of the last century with the Nan school, the use of opaque white. And we're just going to be coming in with a bunch of dots and dashes. And this is going to indicate all the petals that have opened up. Okay? And then we're going to follow that with some yellow and do the same thing. Just do some more dots and dashes. And you just want to let your brush dance around. And the next color we'll use will be a sap green, working that into the tip of the brush. And you want to, at this point, start using a drier brush, but you're still working very rapidly. Okay? And just, you're grazing the paper. The brush is really dancing around on the paper. And then our final tone will be deeper, and I suggest perhaps using a neutral tint. And again, this time you want the brush to be very dry. And we're not going to have our darker tone everywhere, just in a few spots. Okay, now the tendency is to have this look like a daisy. You don't want this to be uniform like a daisy. You want the perimeter to go hither and yon. And then the petals start to descend.
Nan, what size brush was that?
And this is the orchid bamboo, the large orchid bamboo brush.
Okay, and the one previously.
And that was the detail. Thank you for asking. I forgot to mention that. So now we have the petals that haven't quite opened, and they're going to start descending. And let's get them going, because the wisteria is so delicate. It's going to just bend in the wind. And then you might even want to get a little something going on there. And, okay, here. Okay, like so. And then you're going back to the detail brush and your sap green. And remember, there's a central stem that goes all the way down, and then all of these to-be petals areas, these little buds, will be coming off of that central stem. And you could have some like so, maybe get a little stem here, like so. Okay. Maybe get a little leaf going on there. Okay. And then with a deeper tone, because as the petals open, they become lighter and lighter, and then they start falling off from the top. So the ones that are at the bottom are much more intense in tone, like so. Okay, and I'm just using the very tip of the brush. So, okay, and then the next question always is, where do I put the branch or the stem? And I suggest that you use the mountain horse brush. I'm going to get a little bit of my red tone in there. And use the neutral tint. You can use ink, you can use burnt sienna, tip to neutral tint, or a burnt sienna tip to, say, a tube black, like a lamp black. And the brush is fairly dry, and we're just going to have it go behind this. And what you will see on this paper, that your color, the tone, is not as intense as it is. If I use these same color tones on the flower paper, it would be much less soft than it appears here. And remember that the wisteria is just a bunch of tendrils that are reaching out to find a new place to land. Like so. Okay, so all that we would need to finish our painting would be perhaps some leaves. Ordinarily, the leaves come out after the flowers, but sometimes we see them at the same time. So you're just going to use the very tip of your brush and draw your little stems, and then the leaves start at the end of the stem. You would, no pressure, press down on the brush and then release. And this again is a large orchid bamboo. Tip of the brush, press down and release. Tip, press down and release. And then tip, press down and release, and so on. So it could continue as far as you would like. And then let's get this other one here. Tip, press and release. Press and release. After a while, you get the rhythm of these strokes, and it becomes second nature. But the main thing to remember is that the pressure on the brush is always very light. You're just really grazing the paper with the brush. And when I hold students' hands, they're always shocked at how light that pressure is. Let's get some leaves up here. Okay, so we could just say it's finished, it's just completed, or if you'd like, you could do something up here in a very rapid manner. Okay, so we just want to get a little bit of tone there, and maybe add a little of our stem work, but keeping this very indistinct. Just it's so much fun that you really won't want to stop, but at a certain point you have to look at it and say, you know, it's finished, because if you add one more thing, you'll have to add 10 more strokes to balance it out. So keep in mind, whenever we do flower paintings, we want to keep at least a third of the paper blank. It's not like Western art where you want to fill up every corner of the paper. So I could put my name chop here, maybe a mood seal here, and maybe a mood seal right here, and it would be finished.